threshold. They paid for it, then it goes back to them.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So you do a book, you finish it like a few months, you don't start seeing on for it for 5 to 6 months.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's it.
So that's what happens with your students when they have ideas and stuff. I mean, that's what can happen.
I'm just trying to get a better picture of, explain what the industry is about and everything like that, what they're getting, a clearer picture of it. But also, talk a little bit more about what you're thinking about with webcomics, and that's coming up. I'm always learning. Talking to different people, they put it out for different reasons.
Well, I just don't know how you make your money back.
With the webcomics?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how you do it.
The way you make your money back with webcomics is advertising. It's basically, once you start getting these ungodly hit numbers, then you can start approaching advertisers. Here are the hit numbers, and then advertisers will purchase, space on your web page when, say for instance, I go to that website, and every time I, let's say I haven't read that webcomic in a month, and I'm going to go through and read 30 strips, then every time I click through, the advertiser pays the webcomic producer, a fee.
Would there be a way, it seems like a way to do like iTunes, like a micro where you get some subscribers and then I will send you my comic, you pay me do a more direct communication between the actual artist where, because I always know something, they'll show you something to a certain point and then they ask you for your money. So the rest of it, is that also a way of doing it besides advertising? Whether it's just direct, selling it directly digitally?
Nick, you may know more about this, or Mr. Frank.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I worked on a webcomic called Black Eyes, now that I'm thinking about it, and I was paid really good rates and everything, and it had to have been advertising the way to make their money back, because they had ads all over the page, and I always wondered, I thought it was great that they were hiring me to do that, but I was always curious about how they made back. I don't really know.
Maybe have an idea.
Advertising.
One question I have for you, Mr. Katt, is you mentioned earlier, your division, Catastrophic Comics, coming out with a book called Mythology Wars.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about something?
Mythology Wars is it's an action adventure about a young man in 2009, 2010. It takes place all over the world with Interpol and the FBI and the CIA, and what happens is that we have these mythological characters, I'm not going to give it away, actually come back to Earth and they wage war and trying to find this one particular guy. We don't know until book 4 or 5 who this guy is. He doesn't even know who he is either. He discovers who he is. But it's pretty cool because we have modern weaponry being used against mythological characters. I find it to be pretty interesting. That's what the book is about. We've done 10 books, outlines for 10 books, stories, so we're in the middle of that right now.
Who's the artist?
His name is Jeff Walker. Young, good artist, very, very interesting work. He doesn't do as much penciling as he does painting.
Okay. Well, I looked at a cover for Sparks, and I thought that was amazing. It looked kind of like a painted thing, yeah.
Yeah, he did Transhuman. A really good book. Yeah. He was in Korea. He's a French guy. He was in Korea, and he's gotten a lot of work now as a result of that. It's hard to keep him on retainer. But that's a good. Yeah. That's a good one.
Now is Mythology War be a print comic? Is that something that we can get in the stores? Or,
That's going to go right to Motion Comics.
Okay.
We're not even going to go with it. Just because, again, Diamond has been so greedy that it doesn't make sense anymore.
I guess the question I have about them straight to motion is, do they decide on a certain panel arrangement? Is that all in the script then?
Yeah.
Because you're still breaking it down into one movie picture, I guess.
What we do, because we knew we were going to go right to about months ago, we knew we were going to go, when we started on Sparks, doing as a motion comic, we knew we were going to go right to that for Mythology Wars, so we asked it all to be drawn on different layers.
Okay.
Because probably one of the problems when you're doing motion comics, if I move a foreground arm, I got to fill in the background, and it takes a lot of time. But if I have individual separate layers, I don't have to spend that time doing that, filling that space.
Is that more work for the artist?
A little bit more. But every little more I spend for him,
Yeah,
I save it with the programmer who's doing my work.
that's true. Is the programmer a lot more expensive,
Yes.
obviously?
Obviously, yeah.
I guess.
Nick, for you, I think you do really strong both painted work as well as just a straight pencil. Which do you prefer? For me personally, like your issue 5 of Star Trek: The Last Generation, the cover you did for that. We were talking about that on Friday night, how much I liked that cover, that great painted cover. What do you prefer?
Well, I've always come from a more traditional art background. My dad was an art teacher for like 20 years, so I learned how to paint a lot sooner than I learned how to stylize something in comic book form. But the responses actually are usually stronger for the comic book stuff than the painted stuff. The painted stuff takes a lot longer, and I enjoy the look of it, I think, at the end, but I really get addicted to the crisp lines and stuff like that in a comic. So I'd say for me, probably the comic book style is what I like now.
How much direction do you get from the producer in terms of what they want? Do they want a painted style, or do they want a...
The painted thing was kind of something I asked if I could do for a couple of things. They want to usually stick to this. It's like a writer will send me 3 or 4 paragraphs. This is an option for the cover. These are 3 other options. And it's really nice because I can kind of pick from that. But yeah, they usually go for the comic book stuff first. And if I want to do a painted one, I kind of have to ask them.
Who were your influences in your art?
Let's see. Well, probably Adam Hughes, Frank Rosetta's old stuff. That's some of the best. For painting, Drew Struzan is probably my biggest influence. The movie poster guy, built the Indiana Jones and Star Wars and stuff. I know I'm missing one. Ryan Sook. He's probably one of my favorites. He's, I think, one of the best artists working in comics now, in my opinion. So I don't want to rip him off, but I try to, he has that kind of Adam Hughes style, and I like those guys a lot, so I'm proud of those guys.
I did have a question though, like with companies like IDW and Dynamite who like almost strictly do just other intellectual properties, and like in your company, of course, like what like how like what I guess what first of all how did you peruse for independent for like previous intellectual properties, and then I guess we want to do like Dynamite, we want to do Highland, or we want to do Angels. Usually creator that comes to them, or they just start shopping?
I don't know, they have to get the likeness. Apparently if they have 1,000, or not likeness, the license, they have 1,000 licenses. So